if you start off, there are probably four pillars to this discussion, and one of that is the rise of AI in energy optimization. The second one is real-time applications in procurement and supply chain. The third one is advancements for supply chain operations. And the fourth one is key benefits for AI for the professionals that are there, be it admin, IT, or procurement. And the fifth one is probably the base foundation is on how to implement the strategies and what are the best practices that we can, as a team, or as a fraternity, that we can do to get this on board. So to start off, probably I will take AI in energy optimization. So AI-powered energy optimization probably is basically about how to use machine learning, neural networks, and predictive analytics to manage and reduce energy while meeting our operational needs. And how to do that is probably have an integrated data from various sensors that are implemented. There are smart meters that are there. Look into the historical usage and how to deliver the insights that are required for both the operational adjustments and procurement teams. Um, and what are the intended outcomes for this would be basically to see automations that will help us in the decisions for our energy intensive operations, enabling smarter allocations and reduced consumption and continuous optimization. These are all in terms of manpower, cost savings, or tangible benefits that are there, uh, which will be there. And if you look into break that down into four quadrants, probably you can see machine learning in one quadrant, which tells you how to have the historical data that needs to be mapped, predict demand, and optimize schedules at various levels of activities, and improving the inefficiencies in the process and also reducing waste. The second one that is probably there is about reinforcement of learning. How do you continuously improve? Because AI is every day, and in and day out, there is an improvement to the logs and the logarithms that are there to see that there is a real-time change, learning optimal strategies and how to minimize the costs and environmental impact that has there as part of the sustainability or the ESG initiatives across the globe that's right now there to make a world better. The third one is have a rule-based AI as part of the core operations, wherein it tells how do you implement predefined logics for basic automations to start with, then slowly work on that to see that it delivers a reliable control, but less adaptability than learning-based approaches. The fourth one probably is deep learning. So when you have a very fairly matured process, then you look into process complex and high value data, pull out minute details through the sensors and IoT to detect patterns and predictability for inefficiencies that are not visible in the traditional methods. This is basically that you see is for the AI that will happen in the energy management. If you see the timeline of how it is 2 years or 3 years down the lane versus what has happened in the past, it is more about having an on-device analytics probably 5 years back to accelerate energy optimization. Slowly, we moved into an IoT integration where our networks and sensors reduce the cost and boost coverage. Then we moved into deep learning models, wherein it was tailored algorithms to improve basic forecasting and control. Then came right now, probably in 24, 25, our sector adoption. So there were slowly industries which started getting that into it. It's manufacturing, then logistics, it is procurement, large scale deployments. You go to hydropower projects, you go to buildings, you go to HVACs that needs to be done. That was predominantly as of today that we have. If you see 2 years down the lane, what would happen is we look into how the market grows along with AI in terms of energy. And tentatively, we was doing a math last quarter on what we can do in FY26. It came that about 25% CAGR would be their improved energy savings that you can find. In terms of real-time supply chain applications, we have seen that we have started adopting at Tata Technologies AI activities, and we see that tentatively there is, on an average, 10 to 15% dynamic pricing that you can look into. You have an automated demand response basis all the analytics that you do. It reduces your price volatility because you have your activities there and improves your budget application because for some of this is very important on how do you do that. And for this energy savings and having better AI, what do you do is you start with your demand forecasting benefits. Again, if you look into four segments, three or four segments into this, one would be so in that segment, what happens is forecasting benefits. You see your enable your inventory planning, look at your stocks, stockouts that you have, support agile responsibilities that you can have, be leveraging your historical and real-time data that is there. The second one is you try to have your demand forecast limitations where your accuracy could be improved because of the sudden market disruptions, because maybe of the geopolitical situations, the norms the government comes up with, regulatory and compliances that are coming up, and you do not have an incomplete data for that. Um, then what happens is you have a forecasting limitation wherein you only rely on supply transparency and data quality. Logistics and all could still cause an inaccuracy in your data. So that's when an AI would definitely become very difficult for us. And then the fourth one, probably in that particular quarter, is to see supply forecasting benefits, wherein you see what benefits as a team that you can do, basically the operation team to look into reducing excessive inventory, anticipate fluctuations in supply chain, and how do you manage the cost. One thing I would like to tell that while we are talking about energy efficiency, we definitely forget at many times that not everything that you see in the office or your site location is basically AI enabled. You should definitely look into if you have a warehouse, you have a site that needs as a large organization, you need to have at least three things that you need to look into that for warehouse energy optimization. One is real-time control that you have. There's a lot of controls that are there in the market right now, wherein you have AI generated heating or cooling that is required, lighting that can use light sensors, and also you can also predict your occupancy forecasts of the warehouses that are there. Uh, then the second one is you definitely, as a site leader, you should look into measurable outcomes, wherein it tells you you have achieved, or probably give an example that, okay, you have achieved about 25% cost reduction overall, but at the same time, you also measure your carbon footprint, wherein you say that, okay, I have reduced 10 to 15% of my carbon emissions in this year too. And then you have an operational efficiency because of all these things. It is scalable, it is data driven. You have people to work on it. You don't have manual errors. And the other thing is you enhance your sustainability and responsiveness, especially for the BRSR kind of thing. Um, for me as a procurement professional, what does it give me benefit? So an AI-powered energy savings sourcing basically leverages the market dynamics and supplier performance, helps me to negotiate better contracts. It helps me optimize my purchasing schedules, buying it right product in the market, delivering a typical cost saving about 10 to 20% is what we have seen, wherein it improves the procurement KPIs and also price volatility that is there. At the same time, we have the sustainability. One good thing about AI is it has transparency and predictive analytics, and this the major thing is it helps us in transforming our supplier relationships. So what happens is because of the AI and the energy that you look into or while doing the savings, there are very few vendors who are ready to accept into the market. So what happens there is you have an enhanced risk and reporting mechanism that is there. So because of the data that you have, the amount of data that gets churned into it, you ensure that you identify the risk AI, wherever you have surface energy vulnerabilities and shifting impacts there. Then you have mitigation and optimization as the second point, wherein you have data-driven insights to guide you, make decisions, look proactively throughout the entire cycle. And then you have automated reporting, wherein definitely tells you what do you do because real-time energy data that comes in tells you what you have saved, what you have not saved. Sustainability reporting you do, and then you also do action planning. You do your inventory planning, and what we have seen in the last 2 years, probably when we started off this journey from Power BI to AI and then move on, it's about 40% faster saver report generations. The other one, what happens is tentatively, we have also seen that the reduction in operational downtime through this AI-powered maintenance that is there because of the sensor analytics forecast failures and schedule timely services, cutting down on breakdowns, reducing energy waste, and we know that the study that was done by one of our consultants working very closely with us, it showed us we have 30% lower maintenance cost and about 35% less downtime. Now, if you take the cooling systems for an example, what happens in an AI-driven cooling system? Because that's very important for us also to understand that it is part of the energy that is being used. So again, if you look at what are the top three benefits that are there, it is one is that real-time optimization, wherein AI systems adjust temperature using live environment and highly data into logistic centers. The second one that you see is an energy impact, wherein dynamic control help us about 20% reduction in energy consumption. And then you have a balanced operation, wherein it tells you that typically an AI balance energy efficiency with uh, operational requirements that are there across very complex supply chain. And how do you do the implementation and strategies based on your best practices? One is you have a technology scalability. Invest and talk to the leadership to do this. One is having, in that, what you can do is probably access the ability to scale for growth, systems integration, which is much needed, especially in the cyber security world that is there, and adaptability is a must to have this as part of our evolving needs. The second one that is there is about customization and support. Consider that outgoing support, training, customization that will align with solutions and processes wherein you become next generation ready to be able to drive things and be in the forefront. As I said, the third one is data security and compliance. Is how do you see that you have a review mechanism that protects and measures regulatory compliances, capabilities to safeguard your sensitive information. Third thing is about vendors who can do this and have the core capability. And the fourth one and the most important one is about vendor experience or your supplier relationship is you have to evaluate the track records, industry expertise, client references to confirm reliability and credibility of the vendors that you choose from. There are people who come in to work with you and help you. Uh, as a procurement team, what we have done for FY26 as part of the review is how do we integrate this AI, especially in terms of energy savings activities that we need for our admin and facilities across the 16 geographical locations for Tata Technologies is we want to start with begin or basically with the targeted use cases that can help us drive measurable outcomes, then expand the basis which this you validate and the wins and the user feedbacks that you do. So it's a CFT or cross-functional team that would be there, and it's not one department that can make a decision because that is there. So what we have done is we wanted to engage procurement, IT, finance, legal, admin very early in the stages of discussions, evaluations, UAT, then work on it and have paired this rollout with comprehensive training that will help us build a confidence and also in adoption. So as part of this integration journey, what we have also seen is to measure and adjust scales. So what happened is you track your workflow, KPIs, user experience to refine the process. At the same time, don't go big bang. We have done a phase timeline, a reduction in disruption to increase the acceptance of that. Finally, after all these things, what happens is the business of the leadership will ask you, now what? So now comes that how do you measure your ROI and improve it? So these are three key parameters to this. One is your financial impact that you do. You track your energy cost reduction. You track your capital utilization. You do your ROI on trends versus unified dashboards across all the categories or the LOBs you have. The second one that comes in is an operational efficiency. You measure your cycle times, you measure your runtime and reliability, you measure your algorithm-driven scheduling that you can do, which is the AI that's there. Then the third one is about sustainability practices, which is very, very important, and it's a key factor that's right now the buzzword that is there. So here, what you have to do is no more uh, theor theoretical talks. It's more about practical approaches to see how do you quantify your carbon footprint reduction and validate and continuous improvement over and over the period of time. Uh, at Tata Technologies, there is something called Project Alingana. It's all about sustainability chapter, and it's not an organizational increment, but it is a group-driven exercise or a mandate for every or group company to accept, adopt, and move. So, to conclude this, I will tell you that there are three things that you would need to do. There's probably have a real-time decision and savings, efficiency, collaboration, and risk, best practices that will deliver outcomes. And with this, there are three A's. It is agility, analytics, and assurance. These three buzzwords are very, very crucial to ensure that there is a system that's driven and we have the best outcomes for our energy savings, making the earth a better place. Thank you.